Is it? Is it all the way live?
How is
Yes, it is. We are live.
it's really live, but my
What?
service is so bad right now.
Okay, so we're having
it's not
technical
good. It's
difficulties.
not good.
Keith's service is really bad. He's cutting in and out.
I'm on
But
string dial-up at the moment. String dial-up.
the show must go on. Yep, we're gonna do it. We're gonna move on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brew and Real Estate. It's our version of a real estate update as well as a happy hour. And so we get together. We talk about what's going on in real estate every single week. We have different top-ups. Ooh, top-ups. I don't even know what that is. We have
I like pop-ups.
like pop-ups. We have different topics that we share about real estate related and how it affects you, whether you're buying or selling a home or just curious on what's going on in the market. So this is our 13th episode. And again, my name is Brandon Leon, Better Homes and Gardens. I'm a realtor in the Placer, Sacramento, and El Dorado counties, and I'm joined by
Keith Collins with Movement Mortgage. How's everybody doing?
and before we start, we always share a drink. We always share a drink together. And lately, we've been drinking quite a bit of bourbon. So Keith is actually, oh, there we go. All right, this is what I'm drinking. This is a Weller Special Reserve made by Buffalo Trace. This is actually what they call an everyday drinker. It's probably about $50 if you can find it. However, this is an allocated whiskey, which means not a lot of it comes out. So you're going to see it for $80, $100, $200, sometimes $300 in the secondary market, if that's even a thing, which it is. So this is a really good, solid wheated bourbon, high quality. If you've had it, you know it's what they call an everyday drinker. Delicious. Keith, what you got?
How's everybody doing? I got a little bit of Whistle Pig 15-year. I went a little on the upper end of the scale today, but it's been a long week, so I wanted to try something nice. So I've got my Whistle Pig 15-year. This is probably one of my favorite bourbons. Super good, super smooth, always very consistent. Man, I just love it. Whistle Pig 15-year. A little bit of rye. I didn't like rye. What?
I'm not a huge rye guy. It's starting to grow on me, but I have not really had a bad Whistle Pig product. I think everything they make.
I have.
Which one?
No. You and I would both agree on their. What is that? The 6-year thing that's in.
Oh, the piggyback.
Which one is it?
Rye. The piggyback. Some people love it. I do not. Yeah,
I do not like the piggyback. Outside of the piggyback, everything they do is fantastic.
That's true. Not bad.
Yes.
So we're gonna move on, guys. We're gonna get started with kind of a market update. I don't want to bore you guys with tons of graphs and all kinds. I mean, I'll share just a few of what's going on. We get a lot of our information from Ryan Lundquist, Sacramento Appraisal Blog, and I've really just enjoyed the stuff that he puts out. He's able to do some great graphs and share some amazing stats of what's really happening in our market. So sometimes we share things citywide, Rockland, Roseville, Lincoln, Placer County. Sometimes it's Sacramento, or a lot of times we'll talk about the greater Sacramento area, Placer, Sacramento, and El Dorado counties. So this first graph that I have, we are talking about, we do have the Sacramento County, Sacramento region, and Placer County as a whole. Now, this graph, do we have that graph? There we go. Perfect. This graph does share the median price, the average price, and average price per square foot. Now, the median price being you have, the lowest sale and the highest sale, and that's kind of just right there, right in the middle. The average price being the average of all sales. But in Sacramento County, the average price has gone up since August of last year, 13%. I can't remember the last time where a market has gone up 13%. Like, we're talking about probably like a 4 to 6% average, would you say, Keith? Like sometimes maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
percent, but I've never seen 13. So then we have the Sacramento region as a whole, Sacramento, Placer, and El Dorado. The average sales price has gone up in a year, has gone up 13.2%. And then Placer County, 9%. We can't really go by the average price per square foot. I think that was in real estate, like when I deal with clients maybe over 50, they're really set on the average price per square foot. And let's face it, especially in El Dorado County, they're building a lot bigger homes now. So it's harder to go by the price per square foot because you have some older homes that are smaller, and then you have many larger homes, which I think really affects the average price per square foot. So I don't think that's as important of a number as it once was, depending on the data set that you're looking at for just for any given area or types of homes, that they all have similar square footage, if that makes sense at all. So anyways, I just think it's important to note that that we've gone in the Sacramento region, we've increased the average sales price 13.2% in a year, which I've never seen that happen in my 11 years in real estate. Keith, you have anything to add to that?
I have no idea what you said, brother. I just jumped back in.
Boom. He's having technical difficulties.
I'm having technical difficulties today.
So we'll jump to the Placer County areas combined. Now, I wanted to share some numbers from Placer County today, and the only reason why is because I wanted you to see kind of what we're looking at. So we'll make this graph a little bit larger for you. But basically, when you look at these statistics, this is Placer County. The bright green or the light green is the for sale. The bright green is sold, and then the pending is that red line. So as of last month, so 8/20, so August 2020, we had 602 homes for sale. Now, the previous year at that time in August, we had 1,206 homes for sale. So we are over 50%. So we have 50% less inventory as a whole in Placer County than we had this time last year. Like those numbers are astounding. It blows my mind, the low inventory that we have. And that's why today we are going to be talking about foreclosures and pre-foreclosures and the effect that it could potentially have on the market, because we need more inventory. Like, plain and simple, there's not enough to go around. We're in bidding wars. We're in very competitive situations. That's the market that we're in. And so as we head into the fall, I'm going to be curious to see how the market shifts, because there aren't going to be any foreclosures for the rest of the year, which you'll talk about in just a little bit. Keith, anything else you want to add to what you're seeing that's going on in the market, Placer County as a whole right now? I don't think he's here. He's been having technical difficulties, so he can add something later when he comes back on. He's completely frozen. Not a big deal. All right, so let's move on. So I want to talk actually about, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the term iBuyers. So iBuyers would be something like Opendoor, right? Zillow. There are different websites where they say, hey, you don't have to list your house. You can sell it as is to us. We'll buy it from you. You don't have to clean it up. You don't have to go through that whole process of listing. And iBuyers has been something that's becoming more and more popular. And I know you guys, if you have any questions about Opendoor and any of those, I have done some videos about Opendoor. You can see on my YouTube channel. I don't think it's in the best interest of a seller to use something like Opendoor. There are some benefits to it, but you're making a significantly less amount of money when selling your home to Opendoor and those kind of iBuyer platforms. So what's interesting, though, when you look at Q2 here in 2020, it was a tough one on iBuyers because 0.1% of the homes sold across 418 metros. So only 880 homes sold total in the United States that were purchased by the iBuyer programs, Redfin, Zillow, Opendoor, and OfferPad. That's down 88% from Q2 last year. So because we're in such a heavy seller market, it's making it more difficult for those iBuyer platforms, and they're getting canceled. Like there's been contracts that have been canceled with Zillow, with Opendoor, and Redfin. A whole bunch of employees are furloughed. But that being said, there is sometimes a reason for you to use those platforms. because it's convenient. But right now in the market that we're in, I don't feel that it's best for you, the seller, to make the most amount of money. It might be easier, but you end up paying a little bit more money. Since those have gone down, I know there was just a deal struck where some money is being pumped into to Open Door, and they're going to be, offering some new things. But overall, it's almost like they've become non-existent as a whole, because most sellers are realizing, wow, I can put my home on the market, and as long as it's priced right and it's in decent shape, it's in a good area, you can be off the market in less than 7 days. And that's typically what's happening. And so right now, I think, is the time. Election's right around the corner. We don't know what the future is going to hold, but I think as interest rates will maybe just increase slightly over time, right now it is pretty much prime time, and I'm curious to see what happens once the elections happen, what happens to the market, what's happened to the interest rates, and all that good stuff. So the iBuyers, just if you're just joining us, the iBuyers, I think, is not a good option at this time for home sellers. So as you know, it's our goal to bring you up-to-date real estate information every single week. And so, these are some of the things that we want to talk about. If you're curious or have questions about any iBuyer platforms or the value of your home, feel free to reach out to me and our team. We'd love to help you get to the bottom of how to sell your home for top dollar. We have Keith back yet, or is it just me? I think it's just my show today. All right, hopefully he'll be back. So next, I actually, and before I go on, any of you guys on Facebook land or YouTube or wherever you are, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'd love to answer any questions you have. And he's back, baby. There he is.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying so hard to get a restart of my computer. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm back.
He's back. A little restart.
Stressful, man. Stressful.
So Keith.
All right. Sorry, I'm here.
Just to give you an update on where we're at, I shared some market statistics. We have less than 50% inventory in Placer County from this time last year, 602 homes versus 1,206 last year. And then I did talk a little bit about iBuyers and how it's not a benefit to the sellers right now. They're going to make less money if they choose an iBuyer platform. It's gone down about 88%.
Did you do it on your house? I did it on my house, and the number that they gave me was crazy low.
I did. I tried Open Door on my last house when I sold it because I was curious. I went through the process. We got to the very end, and they never asked the question, do you have solar? They waited till like the very end. And then they're like, oh, you have leased solar. We can't help you. So they actually can't buy homes with leased solar on them, believe it or not. But the amount that they offered me, the offering price, I sold my house for $22,500 more. So who wants to leave 22 grand on the table? Anyone? I don't think so. I don't believe that it's a good fit for sellers in the type of market we're in due to the low inventory. If you just price your home right and you're in a decent area, decent price, then your house is going to sell, in almost any market right now, I feel. Oh, did you freeze again? This is the best. He was on for about 2 minutes and he froze. This happens. Technology. Who cares? All right. So I'm going to move on to our third topic. Rockland actually lands on the top 10 list of the hottest neighborhoods to watch in 2020. There have been several times where Rockland has landed on top lists in Money Magazine, top 20 places to live in the United States. This is actually from Redfin actually did this. And the top 10 neighborhoods to watch in Rockland is the Quarry District. So those of you who don't know, if you're not used to Rockland or don't know much about Rockland, the Quarry District is actually the old part of Rockland, 95677, and they have revamped it. They've done new lighting, new signage. They really revamped this park, the Quarry Park, which they use some of the old mining area, and they made it a rock climbing wall and just this really cool space. They have a little man-made lake where you can walk around there. They have some events, and I really feel like the Corey District is up and coming. Not too far from there, just a few miles away. They have one of the biggest shopping centers in all of the area, with a Bass Pro Shops and a Walmart and the Studio Movie Grill and Target and you name it, all kinds of food places. So the Corey District is coming up, and I live in Rockland myself. I love living in Rockland. My last 2 homes I've owned have been in Rockland, and having a population of about 65,000 or so, 70,000. It's a great place to raise a family. So I have tons of videos on my YouTube channel about Rockland, about the schools, about the area, about the restaurants. Should you have any questions about moving to Rockland, or you want to share this video with someone that might be interested, they can gather some information there or reach out to me, and we'd love to help. So I think Keith is pretty much gone. He keeps getting frozen. No big deal. So lastly, what I wanted to cover is the foreclosures. So, when we're thinking of COVID-19, we're thinking of, foreclosures and pre-foreclosures, right? So foreclosures would be, someone stops making their payment. After about 90 days, they get what's called a notice of default. When they get the notice of default, that means that the owner of the note, the lender, has started the foreclosure process, which could take about 4 to 9 months. It just depends on the actual lender. So they have a notice of default. That's also known as a pre-foreclosure. And there was a memorandum done stating that you could not be foreclosed on through the end of 2021 or 2020. Excuse me. So if that's the case, then we're looking at a lot of pre-foreclosures that are waiting to hit the market. Now, due to where we're at as an inventory, having 50% less inventory regionally, when those foreclosures, even though we have a large number of pre-foreclosures, if you can't be foreclosed on through the end of the year, which we only have, a couple months left, 3 months left, I'm interested to see what happens in quarter 1 with everything, exactly how that's going to affect the foreclosures actually hitting the market. Since we have such low inventory, I don't foresee it being a huge issue as far as the market crashing. Maybe interest rates rise a little bit. We're going to have more inventory. And all that's going to do, guys, is going to give us more of a stable market. It's going to be a lot less super hyper seller market specific, where we have almost no inventory at all. We are going to see the market level off to where it'll be more equal with buyers and sellers. It'll probably still be a seller's market due to the high demand. But that being said, it's kind of an artificial low right now, right? Because the federal and state, what they said, that you cannot foreclose on a property through the end of 2020. So we will keep you posted on that. We're working on gathering some data per city of where the foreclosures are, but it really isn't going to matter until next year as a whole, just because if you can't foreclose on a property, all we can keep track of is the pre-foreclosures. And third time's a charm. Keith Collins.
Restful, man. Restful.
He's back.
I won't be doing this again from home. I'm telling you what, man. I don't know. I've never had problems with my internet before at home. And today, the second we go live, it's no bueno.
I know. It was right when we went live, too. No big deal. We pretty much went over what's going on in the market. We went over the iBuyers. Rockland has hit the top 10 list of hottest neighborhoods to watch. We're here at the end. If there's anything you want to add about foreclosures and pre-foreclosures, I went over that, and then we could talk about, current rates compared to last week.
I mean, rates are super stable. We haven't had a lot of movement week over week from last week to this week. I think we got, high twos, low threes for most borrowers in most situations. Everybody's a little bit different in terms of credit score and kind of what they qualify for. But I mean, some of the craziest, I think last year I locked in a 15-year borrower in like the low twos. I think it was like 2.125 or something. It's
last year.
Interest rates are I'm sorry, last week. Meant last week. Sorry.
I'm all
thrown off right now, man. I'm all thrown off. I'm like trying to jump back into this thing. But yeah, no, interest rates are super low. Very good. Great opportunity, and have been really flat over the last week. So Nothing too much changing there. Did you see that text message from Colin though with the notice of default numbers? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
So he got to us in amazing style, and I'm like actually kind of surprised by these numbers, but they've got to be accurate because they're from Colin. They're actual searches on notice of defaults, but we'll have this information next week. But what Colin's coming up with is 28 notice of defaults filed in the last 12 months in Rockland, and then only 5 notice of defaults filed in the last 6 months. So a notice of default is when somebody's over 90 days past due on their mortgage. A notice of default can potentially be filed at the county, just indicating that they're behind and technically foreclosure proceedings are started. But in Rockland, only 5 notice of defaults in the last 6 months.
That seems really low.
It seems like super low because a lot of people have been talking about like really low. A lot of people have been talking about that number like increasing significantly. And there is a difference, right? There's a difference between you can file a notice of default. So with this, and I don't know if you covered this already. I'm sorry, bud, but with the foreclosure moratorium, where nationally foreclosures can't occur until after the first of the year, that doesn't mean a lender can't still file a notice of default, right? A notice of default is just starting that process. It's not actually doing a foreclosure. And so, someone might argue, well, they're not doing those right now. 100% banks are still filing notice of defaults.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get more data on this, but that's a really low number.
Yeah, way lower than I expected. And so I'm curious, when you look at forbearance and you look at all of these other things, are the numbers skewed right now? Are they artificially low for a reason?
We'll see.
Hard to say. We will see. Cool. So, Keith, anything else you want to add to close us out today?
Yeah, I know, right? As I come in here at the end, yeah, I'll close it out strong. One of the things that we had talked about a little bit is just, we have a large influx of buyers coming to our market, and they're relocating. And there are loan programs that allow people to relocate. So if you're staying with your same company, and the company's allowing you to work remote, well, that's very simple. That's easy to do. We have a letter from the employer, the ability to work remote. Employment is not, and income is not negatively impacted from you moving, let's say, from the Bay Area to, Northern California, Roseville, Sacramento specifically. And then you can commute if you need to. Very easy, seamless, no issues whatsoever. But we do have some people that are transitioning up here potentially, and they're transitioning prior to the job starting, but they have a job offer in place. And we can actually do a home loan 90 days before the job actually starts, with a letter from the employer indicating that there's no contingencies associated with them starting that job. Things like background checks or maybe licensing or things that they have to do internally for them to actually start the job. As long as it's a non-contingent job offer, and we see this in the medical field a lot, but as long as it's a non-contingent job offer, you can actually buy and close on a home before you actually start on the job. Consult the lender and make sure that they have the ability to do that. But I just thought that might be something really important to say, because we are seeing a lot of people transferring up to our area and either changing jobs or working remote.
Sure. I think that's really important to note. It's become the new normal that people are able to work remote, telecommute, go in one day a week, whatever the case is. So now that that's the case, we'll be talking next week a little bit about what the new buyer is looking for, with COVID-19, with all the changes. Like, what are they looking for in a home? We're going to share some stuff on that. So appreciate you guys joining us. As always, if you have any other questions, reach out to us. We did have a question. How does someone get foreclosed on if they have equity? That's a great question.
So the lender can, if you stop making mortgage payments. Yeah, it's a great question. If you stop making, if a person stops making mortgage payments, they can still foreclose, and the lender takes all that equity because they're foreclosing on the home, and they take it back. It doesn't matter if you have equity in it or not. So someone, if they have a large equity position or potentially facing a foreclosure, they would want to get with a realtor first to make sure that they sell that home. Because if you're behind in your mortgage to a point where they can file a notice of default and potentially foreclose on you, and there's equity in the home, technically that loan can be brought current at the time of close because you use the equity. Let's say you're $20,000 past due and you don't have the cash to make up that difference to bring the home loan current, and the only option you have is foreclosure. Well, you can sell the home as the owner with equity in the property, and you just need to bring the loan current at close. But if you have a large equity position in your home and it forecloses, the lender takes the house. They get it all.
Yeah. Bottom line, don't leave money on the table. If you're in that position, maybe you're challenged with your job because of COVID. You have equity in your house. The job really has no bearing on your ability to sell the home. So cash out on that house, take that equity and move on and get a fresh start. If you have any questions about how to do that, feel free to reach out to myself, and we'd be happy to guide you through that process. But great question. Thanks for that. Keep bringing them. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it next week, but we will be back either next week or the following with brewery number 14.
14?
14, keeping it going. So, hey, as always, Keith and myself, we always have time to help the people you care about. Thank you so much for watching. Share this with a friend and hit us up with any questions. Well, till next time.
If you're here from the beginning, cheers, big ears.
Cheers, big ears.